In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a journal with a faux leather spine. Hello, I am Tinne from VectoriaDesigns, and if you love industrial and steampunk printables for your crafts, you are going to love our The Mechanist's Ledger kit. You will get a lot of old school ledger details, plus lots of industrial elements as well. And I made a tutorial with these printables to create a journal with a faux leather spine and some interesting details for the binding. I will explain these steps very well, but if you would like a drawing of the stitching for the binding, along with all the measurements, just opt in via the link in the description to get a PDF with everything you need. Now, sewing in these signatures will be a little bit more tricky than usual. In the beginning, things will fall out of your hands. You will be constantly checking for loops, but it's all so worth it. Now, if you totally don't like the project that I'm going to make with the printables from this kit, you can use this kit for many other crafts as well. This is just one idea. And if you don't like these industrial designs but do like the project, you can follow this tutorial with completely different kits. But if you would like to make this or any other craft with the printables of our Mechanist Ledger kit, you can check it out in my Etsy shop, the link is below. And now let's start crafting. Enjoy! I have here a selection of the printables from this kit. It is definitely not everything, just what I think that I need. I did, however, print all the journal pages, so I'm quickly going to show you. Oh yeah, I printed these on 120 grams paper. That means it's not too thin to write on, and you won't easily see through it as much as with lighter paper. I printed them double-sided. On the back, I printed it 2% larger than on the front. And if you then cut out the front, you won't have any white edges. For me, when I printed them, they are 8 inches high, but it really depends on so many things how large you can print. So look at these beautiful journal pages. Look at the detail. I'm so proud of my team. So you see plenty of space to write your own notes, but also plenty of details and beautiful elements for you to get inspired. There. So those were all the journal pages because I'm going to use them all, and I have here a few of the embellishment sheets. There are many, many more than these, but look how beautiful they are. Look at this. Look. And then I have printed only a few of the many very beautiful papers. I think I'm going to use these for the outside covers, and possibly, I'm not sure, this for the inside cover, but I think I'm going to use the same one, but horizontally in blue for the inside covers. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one yet. And this one as well. Maybe I will use this one. I don't know. It's just so beautiful. Okay. So those were the printables that I'm going to use. If you want to see what's more in this fabulous kit, just head on over to our Etsy shop and you can see all the printables that are in there. Now, this tutorial you can make with a small kit as well. You might not have that many journal pages, but you can always print more. That's the beauty of a printable kit. And you might not have that much choice in the papers to wrap the covers, but you can always use other printables for that match the kit, or just use colored cardstock instead. So many possibilities, so you can use this tutorial with a few adaptations for a small junk journal kit as well. Especially if a small junk journal kit also has a matching add-on kit, and then you have much more possibilities. Okay, so I was going to make 2 signatures. I have here my 24 journal pages. I also printed them 24 on the other side as well. You can choose your own order, which page you print on which side, etc. So I quickly made 2 piles of 12 sheets each, and I'm just going to fold them in half. Going to use my bone folder for a crisp fold here. The other one as well. doesn't really matter how many sheets are in there. If you print on thinner paper, you can have more sheets. Just make sure that they're not going to be thicker than 1/4 inch, 6mm. Oh no, I'm definitely not there yet. Okay, so I have my 2 signatures here, and now I'm going to prepare the spine where I'm going to later sew these into. Okay, this I'm going to put aside. And I have here my spine piece. For that, take the sturdiest cardstock you have. This is 300 grams paper, because there's not going to be an inner spine. This is going to be it. It has to be sturdy. We're going to make it sturdier, but still, you want this beautiful book to last for a long time. Okay, so this one is 3 1/4 inch wide. And it's 1/4 inch, 6mm higher than my pages, you see? There. And I'm going to score at 1 1/4 inch. Now the other side as well, 1 1/4 inch. So my spine is only going to be 3/4 inch wide. These 2 parts on the side are going to be attached to the front and back cover. So the only thing you're actually going to see is this little piece here, but it's a very important piece. Okay, and I'm going to fold it like this. And open it again, and then I am going to mark my holes where I'm going to sew. And the beautiful thing from this tutorial is that kind of a laced sewing pattern. I'm going to make my marks lightly on the outside and then erase my guidelines, etc. later, because I want to punch outside in so that my holes are pretty. The back side of the holes is usually not that pretty, that's why. I am going to make a mark 1/4 inch, 6mm from this fold, and also 1/4 inch from that fold, and that means that these are also 1/4 inch apart. So I'm going to make some marks here and here as well, and then connect these. These are just guidelines, and I'm going to erase them later. There. And now actually you can choose. We will need 2 rows of 5 holes, and where you put them, that's up to you. I am going to make a mark 1 inch from the edges. Play with it if you want to change your pattern a little bit. I really applaud that you do your own thing. There. So I have also made one in the center and 1 inch from each side, and now the ones in between, well, I could put them in the center again for an even pattern, but actually I'm going to just make them 1 inch from the center to have a bit of a more interesting pattern. But you can play with these, you can play with those measurements to have a different type of pattern in your sewing, or you can just do what I do, of course. And now I'm going to punch these 10 holes. You can also make the markings on the back and then lightly punch through, very, very lightly, and then turn around and make your marks properly, holes properly on the other side. That's an option too. Now I'm going to erase my marks, but I'm going to add so much ink and Mod Podge on this side as well that you won't see the marks again anyway. Okay, so I erased the marks. I have here an old piece of paper because I'm going to add ink to this to give it more of some sort of a leathery look. If you have another colored piece of cardstock here, you can just leave it like it is. This is another method for giving a bit more depth to the spine. Now actually you only have to do it in the center. I was thinking of another tutorial, I'm sorry. I am making so many tutorials, sometimes I'm a bit confused for what I'm doing. Okay, So I'm adding ink to this piece that you're going to see. And you can layer it, build it up, use different sorts of inks to have a bit more of a interesting thing. Maybe add a little whisper of black in there if you dare. Or just make it black. Play with this. I am using now Vintage Photo Distress ink. And it already gives some depth, you see. There, I think that's enough. And now I'm also going to add some Mod Podge, just a regular yellow bottle, to that centerpiece here. Optional, but it makes it sturdier, plus it gives a bit of a, more leathery feel also, just in the center because the rest you won't see. That's already enough. Yeah, you can play with your sponge a little bit to give it more a different sort of texture. The white will disappear, of course, but the texture will remain. See, and if I dab it like this a few times, it's going to give a bit more of a leathery look. There. Won't it clog up your holes that you just punched? Yes, they will, but I can just punch through them again because I can see them. I don't know where they are. Okay, and I'm going to let this dry now. Okay, this is dry now. When it was touch dry, I put it under a book to really dry flat. So I didn't show you that, but that's a good idea. Now I'm going to quickly see if I need to repunch my holes. Just a tiny bit. I'm gonna have to do that later again as well, because we're going to add an extra layer for security on the back as well. So it's not really mandatory to already open those holes again, but you can do it like I did. Okay, on the back, to make this spine a lot sturdier, normally I add a piece of fabric on top. I just glue it on top. You can do that again, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to use this. This is Tyvek. I learned this from Katja from Lunar Sun Creations, who has made a lot of tutorials for us already. And this piece I cut from a Tyvek envelope. See, I cut it out from here. It's just a really big envelope. And see, this is how you spell it. This material is thin, light, but you can't tear it at all. It's the stuff they make these bracelets from for festivals, etc. You know, the ones that you can't get off, that's the stuff. So perfect for crafting, although I already crooked it. Well, it is what it is. Now, I only could find white envelopes. Sometimes you can find black envelopes as well. But no worries about that at all. I'm going to ink it. Again, with my same ink. I'm just gonna go over it the same way to give it a color. God, yeah, it's lighter than I thought. So I have to be very careful not to... And I'm doing it while I'm saying it. To keep it as flat and unwrinkled as possible. On the other hand, the more wrinkles you put in it, the more leathery it looks like. You see, and the actual texture of the Tyvek starts to show as well. And, well, it's a bit leathery as well, so perfect for what we need it for. Yeah, I've given up hope to keep this wrinkle-free. But the ink definitely works. So you can give it this way all the color that you want it to be. If you can find some of these Tyvek envelopes online, big ones, so you have a lot, might be a good thing to invest in. And you can really build up the color as much as you want. Okay, and just to be sure, you can use a paper towel to get off the excess so you don't ruin your clothes or fingers. Most of it has come off, so yeah, this is ready. I'm gonna turn it around and I'm gonna use a bunch of double-sided tape on the back and glue that onto here. So, and now I can attach the last one on the side here. I forgot to tell you how large it was, but it is a little bit shorter, like a hair shorter than my spine. And I made sure that it goes well over these two folds in the middle. The purpose of this is to strengthen this spine, especially these two folds. And now I'm going to just glue that into place. Okay, that's in, and now I'm going to refold my folds. There. This one as well. This stuff is so thin and so strong. It's perfect. There. Okay, now this is super strong. And I'm going to, again, re-punch those holes. So actually, the previous time I re-punched the holes after the Mod Podge wasn't really necessary. There. There. Pretty. I love how this looks with the inking on the back. And now I'm going to take my signatures because they also need holes. As you know, the signatures are 1/4 inch less high than my spine piece. I'm going to position them right in the center. And I'm going to use my pencil to make marks. Oh, you know what? First, to make sure I'm in the center, actually fold the outer page in half. Then you have a distinct line. Okay. And then hold it here, nicely centered, right next to those holes. And now I can use my pencil to make marks the same height as on the spine. Gonna do the same here. There. I'm going to put that underneath. I have already enough tiny little holes in my work surface. And now I'm going to line these up. Yeah, clip your journal pages if you're not sure they will be staying nicely on top of each other. There, and now I can punch through. Second one as well. erase the marks if you have to. And now I am going to sew these in with some embroidery thread. You can get them in so many colors, but I'm just going to see which one will look really good. And a little bit contrasting with this brown. Well, this will work, but almost disappear. That will already be better. This might be a bit too light. I'm going to use this one. Oh, this is going to be perfect. Nice coppery, nice. And now you need quite a bit of thread for this, more than usual. And better too much than too little. I'm just gonna go 4 times the height. 2, 3, 4. Because this is not to sew one signature, this is for both signatures, this piece of thread. And then we're going to sew these in. Determine which of the signatures you want in the front, which one in the back, etc. Now, in the beginning, everything will be still super loose and your thread will make loops, etc. But the further you go into this sewing process, the better it will go, because in the end, everything is fixated. And I'm gonna start inside out, the front signature, through the middle hole. There. And I'm also gonna go through the corresponding hole, so in the front row here, through the spine. There. Now normally I hold this piece with my thumb and within no time everything's okay, so I don't have to worry about a thing, but this time I'm definitely going to use a clip to keep this end in place. Make it a bit shorter, yeah, that's okay. Just here, so that I can pull and I won't pull my thread through there. So, put this one back into place. Yeah, this is gonna happen a bit in the beginning. Okay, now, if you're on the outside, it's very easy. You always go not straight, but slanted or skewed. I'm not sure which is the right English word to use here, or diagonally. Well, not straight. Let's keep it to that, not straight. So I'm gonna go first that way, and I'm gonna go to this hole right here. I'm gonna go back in, but of course it's the other row. So when I go back in, I need to find that hole from the second signature. But let me first put my needle through to make it clear for you. Yeah. So my needle goes back in through the second row now. And I'm gonna go back in, of course, through that corresponding hole from the second signature. There. Okay. And now, before I go any further, everything was very, very loose, so I'm going to check, is this one tight? Yes. Is this one tight? Yes. Is this one tight? Yes. Okay. Good. And now I'm gonna go that way, because when I go back, I can't do these top stitches, so I'm gonna go back out through the top hole here. Back out, and then from the second row, because this is a back signature, back out through the corresponding hole in the cover. Yes, everything is falling out of your hands. Normal, normal. Just get this one through. And now again, check if everything is nice and tight. This is tight, comes out here, tight. This one's tight, coming back out. Okay, perfect. Now we're on the outside, so the rule is go skewed, never straight. And I have only one option, and that is from that hole to this hole right here. I have no other options. So I'm gonna go through this one and then also through that corresponding hole in the first signature again. Yeah, it's there. It can be looking and finding for a bit, but the further you go, the easier it gets. Okay, again, especially in the beginning, check if everything, there are no loopy, loose thread things here and there. Yep, this is getting loose again. If you're watching this and you already think, oh no, that is not something I'm gonna be bothering with, just don't do this type of sewing, do another type of binding. Okay, so we're in here and I still have a lot to do at the top. So I'm gonna go back out through this top hole and also through the corresponding hole in the spine. And things are starting to line up very well here. Yeah, it's starting to get a bit easier. So I'm coming out here. Again, checking no loops, no loose threads. No, I'm actually doing pretty well here. So here, I have to tuck on this one a bit and then this. Yeah, that's better. I'm on the outside again, so I only have one option here, and that is go through this hole. Back in. We already used that hole, but we're gonna go back in. Through the spine and also through the signature, if I'm correct. I am trying to find the signature. I found the signature. Okay, here we are, back in. My needle's a bit sticky because of the tape that I used for the Tyvek. Okay. There. You won't have this problem if you use strong glue instead to fix the Tyvek. Okay, checking again if everything's nice and tight. It's getting already easier. Okay, and now I'm going to go down through the middle hole of the second signature. Yep, and also through the hole in the spine there. Turn it around so you don't get confused. Okay, we're on the outside, and of course I can go this way too, but we still have to solve this one first. So I'm gonna go this way through the spine and the papers. There we go. And now I really feel, yeah, I'm not having any loopy thingies again anymore, but still keep checking. Okay, and now I'm gonna go back through that middle hole that we first used, and we're halfway done. So back out, yep, and we're halfway. And now I just keep on going that way to finish this part. I only have one choice now, and that is this one. Back out. Back in, I mean. This hole. Gonna do a quick thread check. This one's a bit loose. Yeah, keep doing the thread checks. Gonna go back through the middle hole here, back up and out. You see the spine and the pages are starting to line up, so I can go in one flow and not having to find the holes anymore the whole time. I only have one option here, and that is to go into this one, back in. There. See, it's getting easier. And now I'm gonna go to the bottom hole here. Yeah, the sewing pattern you get from me is going to be really handy here. You can also color where you've already been, what you've already done. That's what I do. Or highlight with a marker. Print it out as many times as you need to. Okay, yeah, I'm out again. And through the corresponding hole in the back. There you go. Out. Only have one option, and that is this. Back in. There. Gonna go to the bottom one. Also do the spine. There. And then, yeah, I'm almost out of thread. Here, the last one. Back in. Yes, I'm there. There. I shouldn't have removed my needle yet. There. I just have enough, so if you want to be sure, make it a little bit longer than 4 times the height. I'm gonna do a quick check if we don't have any loopies. Also here in between, you don't see any loose threads hanging. No, and on the back, yeah. Okay, and then before making a knot, first go into the next loop again with your needle, and then remove the needle, and then this way you can make a very tight knot. I'm gonna make 3 knots. Two is also good. Okay, there. And I'm going to train my papers carefully so they know how to bend. Just in regular places, give it a squish with your bone folder. No. There. And now my signatures have been sewn in. Look how good that looks. That is so awesome. Yeah. Okay, so the inside of the journal we already have. Now let's make the covers. And for the cover I have this chipboard. This is 2mm chipboard. Lighter also will work fine, but this will make it nice and sturdy. You can also always use packages from cereal boxes, etc., and glue like 2 or 3 layers on top of each other and then cut these out. You don't have to always buy ready-made chipboard. And how large are they? Well, these are 1/4 inch higher than my journal pages, so the same height as your spine piece here. And they are, in my case, 5 1/4 inch wide, which means they will be a little bit wider than my journal pages. Just make them the same width as your journal page, fold in half, plus 1/8 of an inch, a few millimeters, like 3 millimeters or so, and that will be okay. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for a bit and first wrap these. And for that I chose these papers. I think I want this one on the front and this one on the back. Yeah. So I'm going to see which piece I want here. I'm leaving like 1/2 inch, 1.5 centimeter approximately, maybe a bit less, on each side to actually wrap it. And then this piece will be on front. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to cut it out about here. Yeah, and here. It's not super precise. Make sure you have like 1/2 inch on each side left. I'm gonna see where I need to cut this piece as well. I'm gonna, yeah, use this part. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, a bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna cut these out. There. And now to wrap these, some of you have seen me do this a lot of times already. I usually put a piece of double-sided tape on the edges and glue in the center. You can just use glue all over as well, or double-sided tape on the whole thing. That's up to you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to put some extra glue here in the corner as well. Then I'm first going to remove these backings, if I can get it off. Yeah. I'm going to use my tacky glue. Center, also a little bit over the tape. And then I'm gonna use my glue spreader. No need to wash this thing if you have a silicone one after use. When it's dry, you can just peel it off and it is so satisfying. Just leave it as it is, and then later on, when you need it again, just peel off the glue from last time. Yeah, that's enough. And I'm gonna take this and place it nicely in the center, especially straight. That's the most important thing, so that your image will be straight. Yep. There. Then I'm going to pre-fold the paper on all the edges. And then I'm going to cut off the corners. But since my chipboard is 2 millimeter thick, I'm gonna stay away about 2 millimeter from the edge as well. From the corner, I mean. See? So just like this. And then there's paper enough to actually cover that corner as well. Gonna do that on all 4 corners. I should have left a little bit more paper, but it's going to be enough. There. And then I'm going to put some double-sided tape on all these 4 tabs. I like to put my tape nice and closely to the edge of the chipboard, so that the edges will be really, really slick. Last one. Making sure they all stick. If you don't have double-sided tape, you can absolutely use glue instead. But make sure it's a strong glue. And then take off the tapes. The tape backings, I mean. And then I like to start this time with the side pieces. Really pull and then, yeah, Great. Pull so you don't have any air gaps. This will be stuck to that side now. And then this one. Doesn't matter if you start with the side ones or the top and bottom one, but do either first. Okay, and now I'm going to flatten the paper in the corners and also close these. So first push in those corners and pull and glue. There, we have our first cover wrapped. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the back cover. So I wrapped both my front cover and my back cover. Now in my front cover, I also want to add a label holder and a little label. And I want to put this piece of the clock from my embellishment sheet behind it. So what I do is I will push the frame of the clock a bit on the side, yeah, right in there. I'm gonna push it in there, and then I know exactly where to cut. I'm gonna cut it. Pick a tiny dollop of glue here, and then take a toothpick and add some glue, like just here on the sides. Otherwise it might come loose. Just in these indentations here in the corner. I think that'll be enough. You can add some Mod Podge on top or some crystal glaze if you want. Then position it into place. Yeah, that will stay where it is. I already marked where I wanted my holes, so I'm gonna punch them. Just skip this part if you don't want to add a label holder. But now is the time to do it. Or at least the time to do it is before you glue in the inner cover pieces. This is my second brad. These label holders come in all shapes and sizes. There. I'm gonna put a piece of double-sided tape on top as well. There. Okay, I might also want to add some metal book corners, but I'm gonna do that at the end. And what I'm also going to do first, before assembling everything, is ink the top and the bottom of this spine piece inside and out, just to give it a bit more depth, as you can see. Also on the inside. There. And I'm also going to do that with the edges of my covers. It will really grunge them up. Again, optional. There's a lot optional. Just choose the bits and pieces from this tutorial that you like and ditch the rest. There, instant grunge. The inside as well. Gonna do this one too. And now it's time to glue these to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna lay it open flat so I have one signature on each side. This one comes here and this one here. Now you can glue these covers right next to that fold here, but I want to go a little bit further and leave like max 1/8 of an inch on that side. It's going to be a little bit prettier, like this. So I'm going to measure 1/8 of an inch on this side as well, so that it's even. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape right next to that mark. I'm going to use glue and tape for this. You can also just use glue, obviously. Sure this glue, this tape really sticks there. And I'm gonna use this one on the edge here. I'm gonna start with the back cover. We always start with the back cover to practice. So if some things might not go really the way you want to, it's not on the best side. Okay, I'm going to remove these backings from the back. Take my glue, add a bit on top. That's more than enough. Spread it out. Just make sure not to touch your journal pages. There. This way it's easier and safer. Okay. And now make sure everything is the right side up, and then you can glue this on as straight as you can. Okay, and then turn around. And now I'm going to put a book on this. Like this. Gonna put something here so that these don't pull the whole thing out of place. So I'm gonna let this dry for a bit. Okay, I only had this drying for a few minutes, and yeah, this is in place. Great. Okay, and now the second one. Bit of glue. Put this one into place. There. Yeah, I feel some ink is still coming off. But in the end, the only place that's inked will be a place that you won't touch. And now my book will be put up here. And then this to keep the whole thing straight. And now just let that piece dry as well. Okay, so this should be dry now. Yes. There, we're getting there. And now I just need to glue in the front inner cover and back inner cover. I have a few options for that. This one or these ones. Yeah, I think it's gonna be this one. I love this paper with the numbers. Although, yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna use this one. This one's great too, actually, but I'm gonna use this one. And I'm making them 1/4 inch, 6 mm less high and wide than my cover pieces. So Mine are going to be 5 by 8. Let's cut them. Gonna quickly ink the edges. Gonna remove the backings of these two. And then I'm just gonna use my glue stick for this. I'm not sure how well this glue stick is going to stick to this Tyvek, but I'm gonna find out along with you. And if it's not sticking well enough, well, then I'm just going to put a piece of double-sided tape just on that place. Okay, let's find out, shall we? Oh yeah, I see something that I forgot to think about. There, I forgot about this, that you would still see it. So I'm going to edit into the video that you need to Tyvek that whole thing. It's that simple. There. So by the time you get to this part of the video, you already know that. Yeah, usually when I make a tutorial, I know most of the obstacles that will be on my way. And I know how to conquer them. But this one I forgot about, but that's okay. If you watched the video well enough, I will have warned you for this to put Tyvek on the whole spine piece and not just up till there. Okay, but I'm happy with this. Look how beautiful. And now optionally, you can add book corners like this one, and I'm gonna do that. I just need a little hammer, and I have a cute little tiny hammer from my jewelry times. Let's place something on the bottom here. Yeah, they look like this, these ones. I just need to slide them on and then just close them by hammering. And it will look like this on the outside. I'm gonna do that with all 4 of these corners on the front and the back cover. There, and my book is ready. I'm trying to not look at these parts here, but that's okay. And right at this moment, I'm already thinking of another solution to solve this problem. Next time. But look at it, look at the spine. How beautiful is that one? It really looks like fake leather. Look at that. Amazing, I'm so happy with this result. And just some of the most beautiful journal pages I have ever seen. Thank you, team. So I really hope you loved this tutorial. If you like the sewing pattern, just opt in via the link in the description to get it along with the other measurements. If you know someone who would really love to watch this tutorial as well, just share the video link with them. And now I wish you a very beautiful day. Bye bye.